Minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to Island T. You're listening to WinFM 98.9 and WINNMediaSKN.com on your computer. Don't forget, we're also simulcast on Channel 40, TVC, TV Caribbean on the Cables Network. Good morning. What's up?
Good morning. I'm okay. YouTube, as you say, Thread.
Yeah. Thread? Really?
What is it?
Twitch.
Twitch. Why do I call it Thread?
You thinking about?
So Twitch, YouTube, as you said, with simulcast on Channel 40, and then Facebook.
And Facebook, yeah.
Yeah.
Thread. You're probably thinking about Thread, which is Facebook's answer to Twitter.
Oh, okay.
To X, yeah.
I don't even know the thing. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's somehow it sticks in my head. But good morning. I see we had some trees that are knocked down. I came out this morning. My yard is full of soursop leaves. Yeah. The
from that?
What do you call them? The tree of life?
From that sneeze? Atmospheric
from that sneeze? You saw the video going around yesterday with the palm tree falling on the back of the car in Silver Reef?
No. What?
Yeah,
no.
mashed up a little car. Yeah, a lot of trees got uprooted. I heard the tree over there by the Rum office on the Bay Road that fell into the road. So I heard the soldiers were dealing with that yesterday. So
I did notice a cap. The what's that building called again? Pelican Mall.
Mm-hmm.
They have you normally have a cap, a long strip of metal that goes down where the roof comes like to a peak.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a bit of it peel back. I'm like, and I was looking at that on my way here, and I'm like. I said that little thing made that come off.
Yeah, and that's my thing. I didn't feel the wind that much because once I went home, I did a couple of runs. Well, a run to Frigate Bay. Not physically run, but do a Frigate Bay run. I got home. I ate. I fell asleep for about 4 hours. And then I woke up and the rain and the wind didn't seem that bad to do all of that damage. But small things really mash up things.
Yeah, so you could imagine, oh my God.
All the tree of life with the exception of one, it looked like that one didn't break, but almost all of them on the agro strip
are serious?
Broken. Yep. It has one is completely looking like a skeleton. Yeah, the wind was that high. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was high.
Even in my immediate neighborhood, I don't see anything.
You don't see anything? Yeah, but my yard is full of soursop leaves from my neighbor's tree, so yeah. So they had a lot of things going on. A lot of things.
The only thing that was evident was, like I said, that thing I saw on the top.
Curled up.
Yeah. Okay.
Nah. Did you walk down by the square this morning?
Drove.
Oh, you didn't see anything? None of the trees being bothered in that area.
Actually, it's funny. I didn't look. No, it's funny. I actually didn't look over in the square because I was paying attention. There's always somebody driving ahead of me doing some nonsense.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I didn't.
Okay, yeah, because I was wondering how in there looks, since all around the places look like it got a licking.
Oh, when I go in home, I have to pay attention to the square because the square is usually gives you a good gauge of
how high the winds were, right?
How high the winds were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was just here trying to find some more to see where it's going now. If it's expected to get. I did hear that it's supposed to get stronger.
Yeah, because my cousins them in the BVI are bracing for it in Tortola. Yeah.
Let me see what it says here. Okay, so Maps show tropical storm 2 hours ago. Okay, so good. Oh, this is good. Okay, let's see what this says from CBS News. It says maps show tropical storm Ernesto's path and forecast as it passes. Oh, so it's already passed Puerto Rico. Okay.
Oh, okay, good. So I need to just check up on my
Yeah.
family and make sure that they are doing okay.
So it's expected to become a hurricane Wednesday morning.
And that's when it gets closer to Bermuda and them?
Yeah, as it moves north of Puerto Rico, the National Hurricane Center said, adding that it could become a major hurricane in a couple of days. So we're not out of the woods with this one. At least we're out of the woods, but the rest of the Caribbean and further up north. Let me see. Ernesto became the 5th named storm of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season when it formed Monday. All along. Okay, we know all that. Okay, let me see. Let me go down. As of 5 a.m., forecasters said Ernesto had maximum sustained winds of 70 miles per hour, so it's gone up a bit. Just shy of the 74 miles per hour needed for it to be classified as a hurricane, and was moving northwest at 16 miles per hour. It was centered about 85 miles northwest of San Juan, Puerto Rico. I'm trying to. I need more on what's gonna come in the next few days. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. The Hurricane Center said the storm is expected to produce between 4 and 6 inches of rain over the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and up to 10 inches across. So this is still talking about what would have happened a few hours ago. So we'll have to wait until later to get news and what it's expected
what will
to
happen
do.
Eventually.
Yeah, in the next few hours. So yeah, next day or two. Okay. So Ernesto, my man.
Good morning to everyone. How is everyone doing? Is everyone doing well?
All right, so now
I'm
just trying to put some chop on my lip. I was running behind a bit this morning, so I didn't get to do what I was supposed to do. I tried to get here as soon as I could have. So how are you?
I'm well.
Sound a bit tired. The weather have you feeling that way?
I don't know. When the power, not having your appliances, not being comfortable as much.
Yes.
So,
I remember you folks didn't have electricity.
Here it says that Princess Juliana International Airport reopens after storm, and I see that after. It's on Loop News, and it's 29 minutes ago. It says, following the passage of tropical storm Ernesto in St. Martin and Princess Juliana, International Airport will be reopened. The airport announces operations are expected to resume today at 7 a.m. It also listed the following important messages regarding flight schedule for 14th August 2024. So it says here that it is also listed the following important. Okay, yeah. So JetBlue is up, and other airlines. I'm seeing updates from Air France, American Airlines. So it says here Copa Airlines, Delta Airlines. Yeah. It says here that KLM and Spirit Airlines are cancelled. WINNMedia information to be announced. So persons, who have flights, I guess they can start checking to see what is happening in relation to those flights.
I know a few people were inconvenienced yesterday because the bigger carriers didn't come, but I guess they had reasons not to be able to come, and the impending storm, and it's for the safety of everyone.
Yeah,
incoming and outgoing.
Yeah, at this point in time, just want to, at least we haven't heard any casualties. We haven't heard that anyone has lost.
A lot of trees have fallen in the countryside.
Yeah, trees have fallen. I recall yesterday, because after the show, I went to Frigate Bay, I went to the gym.
I saw you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I was in Frigate Bay.
Yes, and then, there were a couple places open, which was open. I saw the food places open. As we indicated, Island Bakery would have been open until 12. And so I said, okay then, based on the reports, it said that the storm is supposed to come closest at 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Yeah.
And so I said, okay, let me take the opportunity. So I did a little workout, and no sooner than I finished my workout, there was a rain. There was the wind, and this was about the same, maybe about 12 o'clock, a little about that p.m. And here's me driving out, and it was already flooded.
Oh, wow.
Trees already fallen.
Wow.
Lines already down.
And that's the thing. I didn't feel that the wind was so bad, but I guess the wind was bad in certain areas because where I lived, I heard it, but it wasn't so bad. And then I didn't realize the soursop tree got shaken so much that when I came out, my neighbor was scraping his yard this morning because it's his tree, and then I have the residuals over in my yard, so I have to pick that up sometime later.
And as you indicated, because I did hear while I was, walking into the studio this morning, that you guys spoke about the tree that fell on the vehicles. Yeah. And during the video, when the video was being played at the start, you could see that tree, bending over.
Yeah, swaying.
Yeah, it swayed in the wind, and it shows the power of the wind, because a lot of trees, especially coconut trees, fell.
Yeah, and the Tree of Life I was selling Jamsa on the agro strip, they're all damaged in some way except for one. Even the big tall tree that one of the vendors normally is on, that one lost a few branches, and I'm like, how is it? So imagine if we had a hurricane, what out there would have looked like.
Exactly. So and as you said, it's a tropical storm, and oftentimes we don't get the hurricanes.
Yeah.
Well, in recent time, we haven't gotten the full brunt of the hurricane. So, guys, let's knock on wood. Let's pray.
I'm knocking on wood that we didn't get hurricane. Don't worry.
Because with Tropical Storm Ernesto, it really shows us potential damage that could be caused, even if it's a Category 1, a Category 2, Category 3 hurricane. You understand? And
he was just a tropical storm. So imagine if he was a Category 1, what he might have done.
Exactly.
Because I was not expecting that
and
much.
The discomfort, I look on social media where I can, and there are a number of persons out there saying they're without electricity. You do calls to various persons, a lot of persons without electricity. The phone lines were, as expected, playing hoop yesterday in terms of sometimes you're on a call and then it drops. Sometimes you don't get a call, So the data in and out for those persons who relied on data. So, it was a very long day, It was a very long day. And
for some persons, because the day before that, they were fixing a post close to... I think we used to call it, I don't even remember the name we used to call that factory, but it's close to Ace, the factory that's closest to Ace. Yes. And we were out of power for almost 9-10 hours. And I sat and I watched up at Monkey Hill, and they were fully powered. And then last night it was the reverse. They had no power, and then we had the power down there. The only thing was that we lost water. Well, not lost it completely, but it's like it took forever to fill up something. But the pressure was like almost turned off. And I'm like, wow, that's the first time I've experienced that, because although my water pressure goes low, where I live, it never gets that bad, or it never goes off.
Yes.
So, I was like, boy, we don't need a storm. We don't need a storm.
I'm seeing this Facebook page status, and this was 18 hours ago, right? 18 hours. And it says, Digicel, whole strain, Skelet, don't give up on us in the first 2 minutes.
Oh, boy. Listen, us folks. Oh, boy.
And this was 18 hours ago. Yeah. So it shows you.
Because some people had blowouts, so that's why they lost their power. And I guess other than that, the utility company was just taking... precaution.
Yes.
But as I went through the news, though, I see that the autopsy was done for the two gentlemen that lost their lives in the country, and it is said to Devon Paris, 30, and Jamarni Smith, 9, both from Craddock Road, Nevis, died from severe cranioencephalitic trauma resulting from gunshot wounds to the head. Dr. Adrian Nunes and Dr. Nautica Phillip performed the examinations. Yeah. So that's sad as we.
Yeah. It's when you get the official news, even though you suspect what it is, and getting the official medical report, the autopsy, it just brings home, confirms basically what we already suspect to be the situation.
And they were leaving home for a joyous occasion, because when they left home, they were leaving to a family member's residence. Well, they left a family member's residence with plans to attend a birthday party at Caribbean Cinema. So I could just imagine a 9-year-old being excited, anticipating playing games in the arcade, just enjoying time maybe with the rest of his family and his friends. And that's not how it happened.
I recall, and that story of the death of the 9-year-old brought back my memory when I was much younger. And I recall that there was the murder of a young lady in Nevis some time ago. And for me, hearing that news, I was much younger, maybe like primary school, maybe just into high school. I can't recall the specific age, but I recall being much younger than I am now. And that really stuck by me for some time. You understand? And that was about, if I was 10, I'd probably be 10 in the 1990s. You understand? And the number of homicides wasn't at the number that it is now. And so when I first heard that was, and since this very day, every time I still think about hearing that news.
That the person who died, the young lady.
Yeah, and I think she was about 16 or something.
So she was
like
murdered
that.
as well?
As far as I can recall, yes.
Okay.
And it wasn't, I can't recall the story behind it, but I recall reading it in the newspaper, because then you had the newspaper that reported the news, and you didn't have social media like that. And I recall that being of big news, in terms of, one, being a young person, two, being a female. And now we see in this situation where persons are losing their lives and the number of homicides. So when I think about remembering then the situation as a death like that really played on my mind, and seeing that now we have so many homicides, and thinking about this young person again, it brings back memories. And it's really sad. It's a really sad situation. And of course, crime and violence, it's a community issue, is a society problem, and it never is a societal problem. It never gets old. Like, every person who dies comes from a home, comes from a community, comes from a family. You understand? Somebody's child.
And it's sad how...
Possibly somebody's parent as well.
Yeah, and somebody's friend, because when school reopens and his classmates don't see him, I'm sure most of them would have known by now, because I guess their moms...
Yeah, in this specific situation, being a 9-year-old. Yeah, and imagine, as a 9-year-old, you're in class with that young man. You're friends with that young man. And he's no longer there. He's not coming to school when school reopens, as you bring the memory closer.
Because I thought about it. I sat and I envisioned Nevis. I envisioned him not being able to go back to school. I'm thinking what his best friend is thinking. You have to... I thought, are they going to think I should avenge the death of my friend someday when I get older? Something. If he has siblings that might think that way. I'm just like thinking, what is going to be the eventuality of this?
Yeah, and in my mind, think about the persons who have lost a son, person who, lost a child. What programs, what assistance is given to the individual who now is grieving, who has lost a loved one in such a tragic way, in such an alarming way, in such an unexpected way. There's even when persons die due to, let's say, old age, natural causes, families grieve, and oftentimes words cannot console properly the pain. And so one has to think about when we have these happening, how a family is impacted, what assistance is given to families. Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty.
Okay, time to take a little break. It's 8:28.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
Summer is heating up with CIBC Caribbean. Enjoy a sizzling hot cart summer when you spend with your CIBC Caribbean Visa credit card. Lucky winners will receive prizes including hotel day passes, staycations, dinners, spa days, cruises, and much, much more. Each time you spend $200 or more, you'll be entered for your chance to win. Apply today for your CIBC Caribbean Visa credit card. Terms and conditions apply. Visit www.cibcfcib.com/hotcardsummerskn. Promotion ends August 31st, 2024.
Need some extra cash to make your summer dreams come true? Look no further than TVC Financial Services Live Your Dream this summer loan promotion. With up to $65,000 unsecured and up to 8 years to repay, our summer loan promotion is your ticket to that dream vacation, home renovation, or anything else your heart desires. Applying is easy. So why wait? Take advantage of TDC Financial Services Live Your Dream this summer loan promotion today and make this summer one to remember.
The CPL is back for 2024 and the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots are ready for the fight. This year it will be the best ever CPL with global superstars, massive sixes, and incredible entertainment at the biggest party in sport.
There are 5 games between August 31st and September 8th.
Get your tickets now at cplt20.com or at Warner Park. Turn it up and experience cricket played louder.
And we are back. So Sharon was just telling us about this St. Martin website that encourages people to send in their videos. It's Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. i4weather.com. Just i4weather on Facebook,
On
right?
Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me check it.
And she said so far, which is not to say there aren't any, but she hasn't seen any from St. Kitts. So anyone from St. Kitts Nevis who has videos of Ernesto, it would be nice if we could send them to i4weather on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. But I am just grateful that, you know, we, for the most part, safe. And I see Shine Millions here in the comment section on our Facebook page. Shine Millions says, I still don't have power.
Oh boy.
Yes. But at least her phone is charged,
Yeah,
or whatever
that's good.
device she has. Yes.
Yeah. See, you have to. I charged up all the portable chargers in my house. I made sure everything was good. Like my cousin say, hey, we're okay. The winds were quite bad last night. Power went after 7. Still no power. So she's going to. My cousin in Tortola is going to turn off her phone to save power.
Yeah.
I wondered about that because where I live, right, I can hear when the Valumat complex generator is on. And I heard it on and I remember thinking, but we have power, how come that's on? So, and then I remember I was going to, I was planning to ask you, now that you mentioned, I remember, because I was going to ask you power went, because
No, not in my area.
Not in
But
your
up
area.
Monkey Hill was dark.
Oh, so
That area was
okay.
dark. Yeah.
Yeah, because up to when I left home this morning, I was hearing the Valumat generator.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe nobody's in yet to switch back the power.
No, it's automatic.
Okay.
And since last night I was hearing it. And which surprised me because I was like, but our power didn't go, so
We have a call?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's
just
Jamster.
Jamster. Okay, no problem.
Remember when we used to hear that call? Rusty, good morning, Rusty. Good morning, Rusty. I miss you. Good morning.
Rusty, you're being called.
Yeah, you're being summoned.
Summoned.
I hope all is
Yes.
going well with you in Taiwan, and I hope your family here, no harm or no damage was caused.
Yeah.
them, because as we said, the tree fell. We see how the trees crushed that little car. I wonder what the insurance companies are going to do now, because these things are going to be considered acts of God. And sometimes they say, why they call it acts of God? You really think God going to want to mash up somebody's car or their house or something? Can we not call it acts of nature? Yeah, because I don't think the Lord wants to mash up anything for anybody, but I guess it's a terminology that's used, acts of God.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. That's it. So, Azad, what else is on your mind?
Well, I'm just catching up, being on, not well connected before, and trying to see. Let's see.
Oh, yes, because I have something here, but I'm waiting for it to come up. You know how these things go.
And this data thing, even now, I'm looking at some new Okay. So I took off the Wi-Fi using my data, and sometimes that makes it faster, for some reason.
I'm looking at something that I got, and it's from The Guardian, and it says Harris, as in Harris with the apostrophe behind the S, and then Harris's, as in, and this is Camel and Waltz, right?
Oh.
So this is Harris apostrophe S's. Apostrophe rose divides grammar nerd. So whatever possessed Kamala Harris to pick Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as a running mate, it probably wasn't a desire to inflame arguments about apostrophes. But it doesn't take much to get grammar nerds fired up.
Were you reading that?
It's on The Guardian. I can send it to you. It says, the lower the stakes, the bigger the fight, said Ron Wolushon, a creative director and digital marketer in California who jumped into a fray on social media to offer his take on positive proper nouns less than an hour after the vice president selected Walz last week. U.S.-based news agency, the Associated Press, says in its style book, use only an apostrophe for singular proper names ending in S. Dickinson's novels, Hercules, Labours, Jesus' Life, but not everyone agrees. Debate about possessive proper names ending in S starts soon after Joe Biden cleared the way for Harris to run last month. It is Harris with the apostrophe behind the S, or Harris's with the apostrophe between the two S's. The selection of Waltz with his sound like an S surname really ramped it up. So it's supposed to be Waltz and not Waltz. I don't know. Listen, the things we fight over, right? Said Benjamin Dry, the retired copy chief at the Random House and author of Dry's English, an utterly correct guide to clarity and style. So, grammar issues. So we had to use Harris with the apostrophe behind the S, or Harris's with the apostrophe between the S's. And the next thing I noticed too, from looking at these things over time, is that Trump said Harris was of mixed descent or Asian descent, and all of a sudden she's black. So he basically said which one does she want to be. So I really don't listen. This is why I say I stay out of politics, because it's always some bickering, some fight, some something. Something happening. So you got your stuff yet? So we have to make sure we have our grammars right while
I saw it here. Yes, I saw it here.
Yes. I sent it across.
Hold on there. Okay, then. So I'm looking at some Loop News articles. So this is basically, there's persons who are tracking the storm, and there's a live blog going on tracking the storm. So if persons are interested, I'm seeing it on Loop Caribbean News, and it says here that the U.S. National Hurricane Center says flooding and rains, and it goes down. But the caption for that article says live blog tracking tropical storm Nestor. Yes.
I see some videos on the stuff, but it's nothing much. One video is 44 seconds. I don't see much. I just see the trees swaying in the wind.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't do
so it says, and then looking at this 17 hours ago, it says here, Anguilla shooting victim identified. It says, so the Royal Anguilla Police Force has provided an update on the Royal Well Road shooting incident, which left one person dead. 2 persons injured. It says investigations into Sunday's shootings are ongoing, and the deceased has been identified as a 26-year-old male national of the U.S. Virgin Islands. 2 other persons were injured in the incident. A family liaison officer has been appointed to facilitate communication between all parties and the RAPF. It says this tragic event marks Anguilla's 6th homicide for 2024. The police force is urging anyone with information to come forward to assist the investigation.
Oh boy. And I also saw that in Grenada Juve they had an altercation, and then they had a shooting. I think 3 persons were injured. I have to pull up the article to make sure it says no one lost their life, and they were admonishing people not to bring guns to the Juve. But then how do you check everybody that comes to Juve? Then this Juve has to be in an enclosed area, not a Juve that takes to the road, because
we have a call. Call up.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
I thought Jamsa's phone was going off.
No. That's
Thought it was a leak. Thought they got you.
No, what happened is I had forgotten to put my phone on silent. Hey, go ahead, Greg.
Hi,
What's up?
brother?
Sorry. Good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning,
In
Greg.
Jesus' name.
How are you doing? I see you're
greetings
safe and
in
sound.
Jesus'
I'm assuming that you are.
Well, thank God in Jesus' name that, yes, I am fully safe and sound, me and my house. Jesus Christ has kept and preserved both me and my house and its contents.
Good, sir.
All the glory, all the thanks, praise, gratitude, everything goes to Jesus Christ always. Amen to that. Yes.
All right.
It's still there?
Yes, we're listening. We're listening, Greg.
Okay, yes. Secondly, I would like to say something concerning what Kortensia said. Kortensia?
I'm listening.
Contrary to what a lot of people think, the Bible says everything is from, of, and for God. So even the destructions of cars and whatever we have, nothing is out of the absolute control of Jesus Christ. Everything that happens, the Bible says it is from, of, and for him in Romans chapter 11, verse 36.
Okay, so people should continue to say acts of God.
Yeah. Everything that happened is an act of God, one way or the other. As a matter of fact, God destroyed the whole world except 8 people. And if he could destroy the whole world except 8 people, what is a care for him not to destroy? And those people whom God destroyed during the flood, that include babies, born and unborn.
But
So,
I just think is nature. I know God created nature, but Lord, it just sounds.
And control nature.
They say acts of God.
Fully
acts of
control
God.
nature. And like I say, if God destroy a whole world, including babies, born and unborn, what is the cure for him not to destroy it?
Okay.
So as Romans chapter 11 verse 36 says, everything is by, from, and for, and of God, So, yes, they care everything. They're including destruction of cars, life, everything you name.
Yeah,
It's under
guys.
God's full, absolute control.
Well, persons have, as Gregory gives that from his opinion, the definition or takeaway, an act of God is an uncontrollable event, such as a tornado, flood, or tsunami, not caused or controlled by humans. So in basic essence, anything that's not controlled by humans, any act that has been done that's not under the control of any human is referred to as
Even we humans, even our actions, thinking, decisions, everything are all controlled. Because just this morning I was reading a scripture in
You're saying
Psalm
our thoughts are controlled?
Plans. Hello?
Our thoughts are controlled by who?
All of our thoughts, actions, opinions, thinking, decisions, everything. The steps we take, everything is controlled by God. Everything.
But how does that go when it is told to us that we have free will?
No, that's well, we have free will in the sense that we have free will in relationship to man. In other words, you don't control me, I don't control your thinking, you don't control my mind. In that sense, we have free will. But when it comes to God, we do not have free will.
But if God gives us a choice, then that choice doesn't just depend on relationship with other human beings. That choice depends on how we interact on a whole.
Even your choice, even all your choice that you make, they were all already predetermined by God and in full control of God.
But it's a whole religious discussion because, and this could go on for a while, Gregory. And persons would have differing views because it is one school of thought that even though God is aware of your actions, you still have free choice. It's just that He is aware of what your choice would be.
Well, like I said, in Romans chapter 11, verse 36, God said everything is by Him, from Him, of Him, and to Him. Everything. That includes all your choice. There is no exception. And not only that, but if our choice was out of the control of God, then He couldn't guarantee any prophecy that He made.
And so therefore, if you're going to take what you're saying as the truth, I'm not saying that it is, but if you're going to say what you're saying is as the truth, then it would suggest that every terrible act done by an individual emanates essentially from God. That's what you're saying?
But that is precisely what the Bible teaches. Let me give an example. In Acts chapter 4, God tells us the evil things that were done to Jesus Christ by the Romans, by Pontius Pilate, and that sort of stuff, were all by the hand of God.
So you're saying that a man who gets up, thinks about the death of another, and commits that act, having thought of it, that thought emanated from God. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's what the Bible teaches. Everything is by God, to God, from God, and of God. And not only that, the Bible tells us even the wickedness of man. The Bible tells us God was in control and is always in full control.
Then if we're going to stick to what you're saying as the truth, I'm not saying that it is, but if we're going to say that it is the truth and we're going based on your reasoning, then what is the purpose for judgment if it is that the very act that someone is going to be judged upon based on what you're saying emanates from God? What do you say in relation to that? Persons, okay. There's a school of thought that, we are going to be judged based on our actions. You understand? Yeah. You're saying that our actions are already determined by God. You're saying that our actions and our thoughts are from God. So I asked the question, if someone
determined by God, yes.
If someone has a thought about killing someone and does the act, you're saying that thought emanated from God, and so he does the act.
Right.
So when it comes to the punishment of that individual, would God punish that individual considering, based on what you're saying, and I'm saying, I'm going based on what you're saying, that thought emanated from him, God, then why would he punish the individual?
And he made it all, yes.
Then why would he punish the individual?
Well, for three reasons. One, for his glory. Two, for the good of all, and for the good and blessings of all who love God and are called of God.
So you're saying, based on what you're saying here, you're saying that, and I just want to bring it closer with the examples, You're saying that if someone commits a heinous act, that came from God, and God is going to punish that person who had no free will thought or choice in committing that act.
No, he had a choice. He made his choice, but it's just that his choice was under the full control and predetermination of God.
How can you make a choice if it's under control of someone else? How is that choice yours?
How is that choice? Because it was in your mind to do it. It was in your heart to do it.
That thought came. That you're saying that thought was put there by God. That's what you're saying. So if God puts that thought in the mind, and that thought is acted upon, and the action you act upon that thought, you're saying that God is going to punish that person, having placed that thought in that individual's mind to do the act?
Yes. Well, they put that thought in the mind to act, yes.
Gregory, I don't.
The
Gregory,
individual thought-
Gregory, I don't believe.
because
I
it is
don't.
in the mind of God.
Gregory, I don't agree
No,
with
but
that.
God puts bad thoughts in people's mind in hope that we don't do it. That's what you're saying?
No, he's not
As-
saying
as-
that.
as-
He's
as a matter
saying
of
that
fact, God give you
he's
your
not
mind.
saying
God
that.
allows things to happen. God, a lot of all the bad stuff that
I
happened.
don't
God
think he put
didn't.
thoughts in your mind.
Don't-
bad
don't-
thoughts in your mind.
So Satan and temptation have
Yeah,
no
exactly.
have no
I don't think
part in
him-
this
There's-
equation.
That's the one that put
There's
the bad
one
thoughts in.
reason.
Let us go on what the
There's
Bible
one
says.
reason
Let us go on what
why
the
I
Bible
don't
says.
debate religion, because you
Let us-
see,
yes, let us
guys,
go on what the Bible says.
Gregory, before
The
you
Bible
go
says-
even further, there's a reason why some persons say stick away from religion, because we all believe in the same God, I would assume, the four of us. The three of us in this room, and you as well. But we have very different beliefs.
Okay, but let us go on what the Bible
what?
says. Let us go on what the Bible says. The Bible says everything is by God, to God, from God, and of God. Everything. That would include your thoughts, decisions, your mind.
No,
everything. God
that's
gives
not
you
how it
mind.
works.
Ones, not the
Yes,
wicked
mind
thoughts,
That's not how it
Gregory.
works.
You're
That is
gonna
not
put
how
that
it
one on my
works.
Jesus.
When he said everything.
I think Cleo
he said
sums it up.
everything.
Cleo sums it up really nicely. When it is said that God is in full control, God is not putting evil thoughts in any man's mind to go out and do evil. What that means is that he could stop it if he chooses to, but he chooses not to because of free will.
Okay,
That's exactly what we were saying.
Again, Romans 11 verse 36 says everything is by God, to God, from God, and of God. Everything.
And I will
You are making
faithfully relay Cleo's comments. The next comment says, "What nonsense."
But what I'm saying that Romans chapter 11 verse 36 says
You see,
everything.
this is why when
Yeah.
Gregory makes certain
Gregory,
statements,
Jesus will get
guys,
you know.
this is why when Gregory makes certain statements, I listen him out. I ask him the questions, trying to develop his train of thought, because if he says one thing, I want to know based on what he's saying, then he would basically be saying another. So I want to know if I have to follow that train of thought to its very end.
But let me ask a
If
question.
he's really
Let me ask a
agreeing
question.
with what he's saying, which he
Yeah,
did in
let me
this
ask a
instance.
question.
We're listening.
Let me ask a question. How do we interpret Romans 11 verse 36 if everything is not by God, to God, from God, and of God?
But God wouldn't give us wicked thoughts, would he? That's the devil right there trying to corrupt
Okay,
our
guys,
good thoughts.
we could go on and
everything
on.
Okay, Gregory,
Yeah,
let's give somebody else a turn.
we
Gregory?
could go on and on with this.
Gregory, go have some breakfast, please. Go have some unleavened bread or something.
Our
I don't
views
know.
differ on this.
Gregory?
11 verse 36 mean?
Our views
Gregory?
differ on
Yeah,
this
Gregory.
because then, Greg,
What does everything in Romans 11 verse 36
if what you're
mean?
saying is the truth, then you're saying that God plants evil thoughts. When persons act on those evil thoughts, they're under the control of God, and then God punishes that individual for what he put there in the first
For his
place.
glory, for his glory.
For his-
Well, I'm saying, what
for
does
his glory,
everything
okay.
means in Romans 11 verse 36?
I think even God is rolling his eyes right now at you.
Yeah, Jesus
Oh
gonna get
my
it.
God.
Everything in Romans 11
But
verse
based
36
on
mean.
Gregory's theory, God placed a thought in his head today to call us and tell us this exact thing. And so if he's going to be judged, he's going to be judged by God based on what God has put him to say today. Right, Gregory?
But what does
None of what he says makes any
everything in Romans
sense.
11 verse 36 say? Yeah, God,
Okay,
everything
okay,
that happens-
Gregory. Gregory,
Everything that happened is from God.
I'm trying to keep my coffee down here.
Gregory, thank you
Okay.
for your contribution. Yes. A very interesting view. And you see, this is religion, and persons are going to have different views on different things.
Yeah, that's why I don't argue religion.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have the nutrition unit coming up at 9 o'clock, guys. We have a special guest this morning. Nutrition, so it's all about your health. It's all about your wellness. Because we are what we eat, you know, as the saying goes. Mhm. We are what we eat. Gregory, I wonder what you're eating.
Can you leave Gregory alone? Please leave Gregory alone.
Yes,
Please leave
yes,
Gregory
yes.
alone.
Yes, just a little tease. But you see, I followed him because he was making some really, you know, I'm wondering if persons would agree on his view right there.
Someone says, I don't know why you guys entertain Greg's biblical conversations. even from what he says, he doesn't go to church. Good
Yeah,
for
that's
him.
that's the thing too.
And Gregory need to understand that the Lord said, "Don't forsake the
I
gathering."
listen.
I guess
because
God told him not to go to church.
I wasn't.
Yeah, and he wouldn't put that on my Jesus that God didn't tell him to go to
I
church.
wasn't
'cause
here when
I'll
you
get
guys
him.
had the discussion with Gregory, right? And I remember listening back because I said, I'm going to listen. And I recall hearing Gregory said that during the time of COVID, persons should have gone to church. The church should have been
open because
Yet,
we believe in God.
in this time,
Gregory and evangelizing.
when we don't have COVID, Gregory says he doesn't go to church. I don't know. Something's not adding up. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But to each his own. We all work out our salvation. You understand? And everyone has different views, and that's a religion, different interpretation, So we respect everyone's views. And that's his view. And we respect it.
But still, if...
We don't have to agree with his view, but we can respect his view.
Yeah, but... Okay. I won't say anything else, yes? I'm done.
So, let's see.
I'm not gonna fight Brother Greg at all, because Brother Greg, I'll let Jesus get Brother Greg. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all.
I was looking for a story here. I had bookmarked it on Twitter.
Yes.
About I found it ironic that when you see there was this article about how much money different countries pay to athletes for winning, and you'd be surprised to know that the U.S. pays the least. I think they get like $37,000 for a gold medal. I still haven't found it, but
I think I saw that story, but I can't remember it. But I know it's $37,000 for something, and then it gradually goes
and
down.
20, like maybe 20 for or 25 for silver and 15 for bronze.
Yeah.
Whereas those other countries is like $1 million and so.
Yeah, but when
I
you
think
turn around their $1 million, how much would it be in US? Because
No,
paid
US,
100 and something
US.
thousand for all the medals she's carrying home
They
back.
gave all the thing in US.
In
so
US?
Yes. So
Oh,
some people
so
get like
the US pays
500,000 US. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just the government. Think of all the what do you call it? Think of all the brands that are gonna want maybe what is it? Frosted Flakes might want Simone on their box. Nike's gonna call her. So I think that's where the athletes make them the extra money that they're supposed to make, because what the government pays them, people might not see that's enough. But I think Simone Biles stands to receive 100 and something thousand US when she gets back home, because of the amount of medals. I think she's carrying home 5. 3 of them are gold, so that's 90, and then the other 2. Yeah.
I'm seeing here that there's a group on Facebook that says Skeleton Community Status, and persons have been posting, and there's one post here that said they have the nerve to tell people to return to work when a lot of people don't have water and electricity since 12 p.m. yesterday. And this was posted about an hour ago.
Okay, I don't want to be got or get, but don't you think we should have been prepared knowing we have an impending storm? Please don't get me, but full up, iron up. I have uniforms, iron up. I was not about that life. As I said, I charge up everything.
Yes.
Once my bottled water is done, I fill those and I pack them. If you see the
So
corner
you
of
were
my house,
prepared.
I'm always year round.
So
my cupboard is filled with water. My part of my kitchen, I lined floor with water, because I'm like, I'm not going to be running out of anything here. I'm ironed up and we're ready to go. I just think preparedness is key. Folks, don't get me. That's all I'm saying. I understand that some of us don't have current. We don't have water, but yeah, it's daylight. Had we fill up our water, we could have a nice quick one and head on out.
You see, as Kortensia has indicated, she said that she ironed in advance, so you probably have a week worth of clothes
clothing.
already.
Yes, sir.
And you already
I just
stock
put
up
on
on
and
your
run.
water.
Of
Yes,
course.
so preparation is key.
It always. And we know that in every single thing we do. If you don't study for the exam, we can't pass it, right?
Yes.
If we don't look good for the interview, who is going to take us seriously? They're going to be like, ew, why did he even come? Even before we get to the second question, they're going to claim the interview is done.
Okay,
you have to be prepared. Go ahead, Jamster.
I found one. This guy, what country is he from? That Singaporean Max Motor. He's 17. He will get $250,000 for a bronze medal.
Is that U.S.?
Yes, U.S. Mm-hmm.
Where's that source coming from?
And the guy from Pakistan who won the gold medal for the javelin.
Were you reading that from Jamster?
Twitter.
Okay.
He
Twitter.
will get $538,000 in prize money. Wow. And the U.S. Here's a list now. Found the list. Oh boy. So Hong Kong pays $768,000 for gold medal, $384,000. All this is U.S. money, and $192,000 for bronze. The United States, just for comparison, one extreme to the next, $38,000 for gold.
How much is silver?
$23,000 and $15,000 for bronze. Japan is even less. Well, Japan is $32,000 for gold, $13,000 for silver, and $6,000 for bronze. But it's funny how all the countries that you think don't have any money. Kazakhstan, $250,000 for gold, $150,000 for silver, and $75,000 for bronze. Wow.
And you said all of these are U.S. monies, right?
Yeah, U.S.
Something doesn't sound right.
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, something. But
that's why I said,
have you seen
that's
the
why I asked
commentary?
him where his source was.
I actually
remember
remember during Obama's terms, there was something came up when people found out how much money was being paid, and it turned out that it was taxable, and Obama had to make it. He got some pressure, and he had to make it untaxable.
Oh, okay.
So you get the full $38,000 without having to pay tax on it, because that's no money, you know. So 9 o'clock. So we have our nutrition program coming up by the Diet and Nutrition Unit.
Yes.
Let's get a word from Feed and Farm and come back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
For all your animal needs, try the Feed and Farm Store SKN. We have the best quality products in feed, dewormers, grooming supplies, toys, treats, and minor medical supplies. Drop by the store on the Kim Collins Highway at the airport roundabout. We're open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday and 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Give us a call at 669-FARM.
And we are back, and as promised, we have the nutrition surveillance unit. Did I say that right, or is it the nutrition surveillance? You know what? I will let Toya do her thing. You know, it says what? Eat well, live well, be well, and we're gonna touch on preparedness for. Okay. Well, I'll let you take it away.
Hi, pleasant good morning to everyone. My name is Latoya Matthew Duncan. I am the Nutrition Surveillance Coordinator for the Health Promotion Unit in the Ministry of Health. And so today we'll be basically looking at food and water hygiene after the storm. We know quite a few persons might be a little bit quite uncomfortable currently because they are wondering, is it safe to eat certain food after this storm? Is water safe for drinking, cooking, and personal hygiene? Should they be boiling water or should they be purchasing water, etc.? So we'll be looking at some of these areas here this morning.
So, as we have indicated, there are a number of persons still without electricity, still without flowing water, and so I think it's timely that we using this segment and making it fit into the reality that is today. So Latoya, tell us, what are some of the techniques that you like to share, some of the tips you like to share in terms of staying healthy, consuming food at this point in time, considering, power has been off for a while. There might have been some food in the fridge.
What about the chicken that's run down? Or the beef that's run down? Is it safe to eat those?
Yeah, so some of the things we have to bear in mind is when you are in doubt, especially with food, throw it away. Some persons like...
How are you going to say, when you're in doubt, throw it out?
Well, throw it out, throw it away, throw it somewhere, but just don't eat it.
Yes.
Okay, some persons, I did a session one time and this lady told me she have a smell test. So if it doesn't smell too bad, it means it's edible. However, those bacteria that usually go on food, you can't smell them, you can't see them. Once they reach those numbers, the food is literally spoiled. However, we will not be able to see them physically because they are microscopic.
Yes.
However, the numbers are there. You might not be able to have that pungent, strong smell to say, oh, well, it is spoiled.
Yes.
You might cook it, you might consume it, and then only after you consume it, then you realize when you start getting the gastroenteritis, the vomiting, the diarrhea, that this chicken that was there in my fridge that was without electricity for the past few hours, it ran down. I decided to either boil it, steam it, whatever I do with it, and then eat it, and then I come down with, in lemon term, persons would say, runny belly, or whatever they want to call them.
I did some research and looking for how long food can stay in the fridge, still be, in good condition, how many hours would pass. And usually when I looked at that, it depends on the type of food.
Yes.
You understand? But generally speaking, it was saying about 4 hours.
Well, that is if. That's it. If it is frozen, you can still have it there. Once it is frozen and you can see the crystals to say that it is frozen, you can tap it and you see it's still hard to say it's frozen. However, once you have food that is fully defrost, usually 4 hours is sort of the rule of thumb for any particular food that would be at a temperature where bacteria can start to grow. Even when you have cooked food, if it is there for past 4 hours, you have to put it in somewhere, whether your refrigerator, whether you're going to put it in the refrigerator, you're going to freeze it in order to store it. Once you get out of that window, then you can have issues. So, and like you rightly said, sometimes it depends on the particular food. Because, for example, water, we could have water in our fridge and we can have it at room temperature. And it don't necessarily affect us. However, if you have something, let's say like yogurt, for example, that you had refrigerated, then you cannot really take it out and put it at another temperature and leave it there for hours. Dairy products in particular, because of their high water content, they tend to spoil rather quickly. And one of the food items that I don't mess around with, even when they have those dates that said best before expire, I don't mess around with dairy products. So if you have milk, for example, in your fridge, and your fridge have been there for a while, you have no electricity, you should not really be consuming it. You throw it out. Don't even feed it to your animals. Because some persons like to do that also and say, they could take something, their stomach will build this way, but really and truly, you shouldn't.
Yeah, even the other day I threw out some food like outside in the yard, and I think, would I like if food was given to me in that way? And I said, why did it take me that long to realize that we really treat dogs bad, especially the dogs that are on the outside? Like, I just threw it on there, and the dog's supposed to take his tongue and just try to decipher stone from dirt, and I felt so bad. Like, the realization just hit me, like, who do we think dogs are?
Because they can get ill too. They can get ill. So we have to be extremely careful. So we throw away food that may have come in contact with flood or storm waters, and even sometimes you might have particular foods that are defrosting and it's close to other food items. And if that food is spoiled, you ever heard of one bad apple spoil the whole? Yes. So that literally can happen with food. So once you see those foods starts to spoil and you are uncertain, you remove them from between those foods that are a little bit more non-perishable let me not say non-perishable, a little bit of those foods that still have a little bit more shelf life. Okay, so you have to be extremely careful when you have, and then when you are storing them also. For example, the chicken might have already been defrosted and you plan to use it, so you remove it from one part of the refrigerator, you put it to another part. While it continues to defrost, you would have liquid dripping from it. So you don't want that liquid from them to be touching other foods, to be contaminating other foods either, especially foods, for example, those in skin that we would consume the skin. You want to store them separately, either in a nice container where the liquid do not get in contact, or you put them down below where even if they were to have any liquid dripping, it do not get in contact with any other food items. Okay, and and even speaking about the water, we have to pay attention to what we store our water in. Sometimes it might not be the water that is contaminated, but it could be the container that is used to store water. And with some of us having the issue of water, and then we have persons who religiously refill containers by the different water outlets that you see around St. Kitts. You have to ensure that your containers are clean.
Very true.
That's why I throw bleach in my bottles that I just store just in case anything happens. So I could use that for my toilet, maybe to be in my skin. But I can't drink that one.
And exactly. And that is also important too. If you're going to store water, store them for the separate use.
Yeah. For me, when I store water, it's not necessarily for drinking. It's not drinking at all.
No, exactly.
Let me say not drinking at all.
That's toilet flushing, bathing.
Yeah.
I'm not. Like cleaning up if anything throws away.
If I'm going to store it, the water that would be, I'll probably get bottled water. And store that.
Yeah, I'm going to buy the fresh ones before everybody goes to the supermarket. And
then the ones that I fill, as you said, I'll use that for domestic purposes,
domestic
in the sense of cleaning and stuff like that.
Yeah, but even those that you're going to use domestic, for example, washing dishes is domestic.
Yeah.
So you have to ensure that you have the water is sanitary enough even for that use.
But the bleach shouldn't prolong the life of the water in the bottle.
Yeah, well, the bleach, it does help to kill with certain bacteria. There's a certain ratio that you use towards the bleach. I can't remember how much. I think it's like 2 teaspoons to about a gallon. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's something. So it helps to actually keep the water to be utilized better. It keeps it clean because it kills some of the bacteria that's inside of it. But even that type of water, it also have a shelf life. Okay, so we have to be, even though we know that we have the water shedding problems in some area, even without the storm. So you can't expect to have, for example, if I filled up 2 buckets several weeks ago, just in case it catches me half guard, that I'm going to always just have the 2 buckets there and not reuse them. For example, I live in Sandy Point, and ours is fairly constant where it goes like around 7 p.m.
Wow.
So I've already sort of gotten accustomed to that. My household have gotten accustomed to that. So we do have these buckets in the bathrooms just in case. Everybody have their water bottles by 7 p.m. Everybody have their water bottles already filled, so that's where you'll be drinking for if need be for water. But those buckets in the bathroom, sometimes we don't have to use them. And so I would remind them, well, just throw them out, use them to flush the toilet instead of flushing it, and then you refill them. You don't just keep them there sitting for weeks.
Okay, the boys can start wriggling in there.
Yes, and even now with the issue, because we did get quite a bit of rainfall, when you have standing water, you're looking at certain infections as well as growth of those little fellas who tend to be a pest to certain individuals. You have mosquitoes, so you don't sometimes, for example, I know of a story where a lady, she had an issue where her household was filled with mosquitoes. They did the yard and everything, and it did not seem like there was any indication that she had anything outside with standing water. It turns out in her home, her dishwasher, there is an underneath portion of it. And so that had wigglers, and so that was the area where the mosquitoes were actually originating from. And she did not have a clue.
That was it.
Because she was like, my windows have a net, and her house is still filled with mosquitoes at a particular period. So, we have to, we are adapting using different technology also. We have different devices in our home, different electronics. So we have to be wary and pay attention to those areas that can cause those sort of unhealthy environment, or those habitats for those insects.
So we had the storm yesterday. I know if we had cans outside or whatever outside, they would have collected water. So what would you recommend to folks today? I know everybody has to go back to work, but what would you recommend for them to do to ensure that we don't get the tiny wigglers that eventually becomes mosquitoes? And we know those are normal.
I would encourage them to actually do an inspection of their household, well, inside and out, on top of the roofs also, if you can get onto the top of your roof, to see any containers that could actually be a habitat for mosquitoes, where water can be stagnant for a period of time, and actually throw away the water, turn them over so that you don't get any collection of water in the future. If it's something that you can dispose of, you dispose of them. However, anything that is standing in your yard, any receptacle, any container that can be a catchment for water, you want to ensure that you don't have any standing water, any stagnant water there that can possibly be an area where mosquitoes can grow and breathe.
Okay, all right. So do we have anything else that we can touch on as we continue? Oh, my eyes are burning. As we continue with the program, we've touched on food, we've touched on caring for our environment outside, and for water that we may have stored for impending tropical storms or hurricanes.
So, well, it would be nice for also persons to know that the water that they stored, you have to keep them covered. You have to definitely keep them covered. So you have to ensure that you have like screw caps, snap lids, and there isn't any. And when you cover them, they are properly covered. Okay, no longer you have the 5-6 buckets and there is no covering for them. You have to cover them.
I wonder how we survived with those and we didn't get much diseases back then. But now all of a sudden it's like everything is just amplified and magnified, and it just seems because we just kept.
You sure it's just not a lack of knowledge before when person.
But then we didn't have that much trouble. I think we just had a lot of mosquitoes, but yeah.
I think most of the problems that we have is probably still there. Maybe with the advanced technology and with other things happen. But I think for most part, if you're not aware of a dangerous thing.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking at. Like.
Let's take a call, guys.
Okay, caller.
9:15. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
Hey.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Oh, so far so good. I want to say congratulations to all who had an input in sending out the information and during the storm, and then lots of people who came out safe and on top of the hill. Thank you very much for educating the population concerning their health. I like the idea.
Thank you.
But you forget one thing. There's another thing, which is the thing that they call mold. You didn't mention that at all.
Oh, well, see, the program is not just done yet, but thanks for bringing that up.
That's a good one, too.
Based on what I have seen is that what I can say to you is that I think 100% of the houses in St. Kitts having mold. And so everyone should go right ahead and move right into what you call a major cleaning, mapping the floors, cleaning the walls, whatever it is, because we have changed from one temperature to another. When the place was very hot, we had flying particles flying in the houses and so on, and the curtain become damp, and they become probably like mildew. So some of the clothes are needed to be washed and get some sunlight into the houses and so on. Not only that, government cleaners need to clean these buildings before the government get busy and shutting them down and move into a rental program again. So all those buildings that are used by government offices, clean them up, clean the air conditions, and put them back to work like everything else. Because I notice staff are moving out from one building to another, but they are not moving out of their own building. They are staying home. So I don't know why the taxpayers must bear the burden of rental for buildings when government have good buildings, and the only thing they need is to be clean.
To be not only clean but maintained.
The chief of NEMA. My only problem with him is that he did not say that those who was under him, they were understudying him with a preparation for him to leave, so they are full competent to take over. And once they're competent enough to take over, then the system will continue to go on. Have a good day, and thank you very much for your time.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the suggestion. Your input is very appreciated. Thank you so much.
And Kortensia made a good point.
What's
Cleaning
that?
and maintenance and
yeah.
regular
You can't just
discipline
clean it.
maintenance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're having too many persons complaining about mold now, and no persons are dying because it poisons your system. I remember in Antigua, our chief flight attendant, she got an infection, and she was my color, and then she became the color of this, black. Yeah, mold infection, because the mold were in the books, even books too. We store and we keep books for long periods, and with the moisture, and as he just mentioned, we put AC in our homes, we have AC in our rooms. That's why I know I kill my AC. So on days I open it and let the room just be totally hot, and sweat, because I know what could happen. Because you have clothing in there, fold up everything,
Yeah.
the moist, that's mold.
And then the way one's body mold affects one person might not affect the other person, and there are different types of mold. You understand?
So that is something to bear in mind. Yes, so there are different type of molds, and so I mean we know that there is quite a bit of persons complain about mold, etc. So it is also important to know the type of mold, whether or not these mold are, how dangerous they are, and the level that is needed, because you could have a particular strain of mold and you clean it to that and it return. So in order to be able to treat it properly, you would have to know the type. And like you rightly said, sometimes persons are not aware that mold can actually accumulate in different places, not only in areas that have AC, for example, but also in books. So many of us at home, we have stacks and stacks of books. We have paper, documents, different things in cupboards that we don't go to very often. And sometimes for now, quite a few homes are putting in AC, for example, and that is going to moisten the air. And once you have the air moistened, you have the potential for that. So it is good to always do what they would call it a spring cleaning. Clean everything, move around everything, open up your doors, allow the fresh air in, allow the stale air out, remove everything.
Now that we're talking about this mold, right, Latoya, I'm just thinking, sometimes you get the water comes down at the back of the paint, and then there is it poofs out, and then we get this white funny thing around it, and as kids we used to just rub on it, not knowing the danger that we're putting ourselves in. That's literally mold, right?
Yes, that's a form of mold.
We just go and rub the white thing and play and trying to flatten that thing, not knowing that we're killing ourselves, but we survived. We didn't
because there are different types. For example, you spoke about paint. There are actually paint that are resistant to molds. So when persons are building, for example, or you're looking at upgrading, these are some of the things that persons should pay attention to, especially if the facility is going to be dominantly AC. You have to pay attention to these things. In the Caribbean, I'm not going to say AC is something new, but the trend that is currently happening, where majority of the homes in St. Kitts and Nevis are actually installing AC units. We have to ensure that when we are installing these AC units, that the room, the facility, the building is also appropriate for it. So, I mean, I'm not a specialist on it, but certain things are common sense and general, and so when we look at them in our homes in particular, sometimes even where we work, if you have a window, for example, now and again you would want to open your window and let the fresh air in, turn out the AC.
Okay, we have a caller. Caller, good morning. You're live on LNT.
Sorry to come back and bother you a little bit more, but I want to tell you, there are lots of places when you go to the houses, when they paint, you see the paint like it's drizzling up on the wall. All you need to do is get some regular cement. I don't know if you can do it yourself. If not, you call in a painter, like somebody like a guy named Will. You know what to do. You will mix the paint with some Elmer's glue, mix the cement with some Elmer's glue, scrape off the old paint, and rub it onto the face of the wall, and that will take care of that area of the wall. And when you paint it again, that wall will never cake up again, because some part of the wall normally become damp and moisture come to that. But once that go on there with the Elmer's glue and the cement, and you plaster it on like me, and then you paint it, then that will never happen again, because wall have a tendency to draw certain amount of temperature and back and forth, and you could have that. And that is very disgusting. I had somewhere I live, and I had to do some of that myself, so that take care of that problem.
Okay, thank you for that.
Continue to educate the
And while we are even speaking about mold, we also have foods that can be contaminated with mold. The persons tend not to pay much attention to. Now, the research usually says that you cannot get food poisoning from mold. However, if you have bread in particular, some persons would just remove that portion that is there, and they would consume
Toast it and eat it.
Yeah, I would recommend that you don't, but the research is actually saying that you can consume the portion that is actually
not infected. But how do we know it's not infected, as you rightfully say?
Because you cannot see
because it probably is growing there.
You cannot see, so we even have to pay attention to our food sources.
Jams's face lit up right now. You have bread.
No. I was just that. When she said it, I remember I read that the bread on mold, the mold on bread could be dangerous, and that was kind of a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Once you see it go green,
so we have to also pay attention.
Sometimes you see black. Sometimes there's a green. Sometimes a black one. Sometimes.
Because I'm looking here. Once we started talking about mold, I went to Google, and then they say signs of mold in your home, and there's a visible mold growth. Right here, this black one right here. Then there's a peeling paint that he spoke about. Look, I sure some of us see this. This one in particular, I don't know how much you can see in our homes. Azard, I don't know if you want to put it closer to the camera so folks can see. So once you see it now, you know that it's mold. Can you see it, Jamster?
Yeah, thank God. Never seen that in my house.
And they even said in your grout, on your tiles and all of that. So we have to really be careful. And it says you can usually see or smell the mold problem. Mold can appear as slightly fuzzy, as I said. We played with it on the wall. Discolored or slimy patches that increase in size as they grow. Most mold produce musty odors that are the first indication of a problem. Mold can grow anywhere there is adequate moisture or a water problem. And we know once we see water running, and as I said, through the paint, the water comes down, and then the mold just begins to grow. And this is symptoms of exposure and risk, and more: runny nose and congestion, eye irritation, sneezing, coughing, sore throat, skin rash, headache, lung irritation, wheezing. So we have to be mindful.
Yes, we have to.
Wow.
So not only in our homes, like I said, also with your food. We have to be extremely careful.
Even the condensation that happens by your window, Latoya, look, suddenly molds grow to the bottom.
Exactly, and some persons don't realize that as mold, and that's a common thing that sometimes you might see in some person's home.
It's mold. Oh my gosh. So we all have to be careful.
Yes.
Wow. I'm looking at early signs of mold in the house, and as you said, look at all these things by the tile, the grout. We say is mildew or the dirt from our skin clubbing up.
Yes.
Y'all, it's mold. Clean the place, please, quick. We don't want to be. Look, the bathroom. It is mold.
Let's see what that looks like.
Yeah, bring it up alone.
Yeah.
So. You see it?
And these are what are commonly found inside our home.
And we think it's just the dirt buildup from the skin. But boy, we got to be careful.
Yep.
Oh, wow. So anything else we forgot to touch on? We touch on the water, we touch on mold, we touch on throw away the foods if they've been run down. Sorry, folks. We know we're not supposed to have perishable when we're having any kind of storm, be it tropical or hurricane. And we touched on...
on the health aspect of it, I'm sure most persons consume more than they were supposed to yesterday. Our persons were indoors
junk food.
often, so it's time to get back out there, get physically active.
I'm trying to fight that.
Start looking at selecting healthier options.
I like, oh boy, that's the
we
one.
have to look at that. So the sun is out today. So persons, this morning I was elated to see there are quite a few persons in my community who usually do their early morning walks, and I was surprised it was a little later. However, they were still doing it.
That's good. That's
you know, and so those of us who have never thought about it or who don't have a physical activity routine, it's about time we get one. Whether in your homes, outside, early mornings, mid-afternoon.
I think my daughter's
within your office, you have to.
My daughter's part of the conspiracy. She made brownies yesterday, and she gave me a slice, and then she came back about 2 hours later. Daddy, you gonna have another slice? I was like, no.
Listen, I wanted brownies so bad yesterday because I went to rituals, but then I didn't get it. I just decided, let me be conscious, because I didn't think I would have exercised, because when it's rain, you want to curl up. Plus, I had some work to do, so not housework, but a module for work, and I was like, oh boy. So I just decided, let me leave the brownie in the glass case. Although it looks so, oh boy.
You could have had the tuna salad wrap.
No, not my jam.
She went for the brownie.
I wanted the brownie and I just left it. So yeah. So I'm happy I left it.
Yes.
Because I didn't get to work out. So.
Because so many of us, with that type of weather, our person think about is just being
Netflix,
I
chill, and
remember.
food.
Recipe for putting on weight.
Yeah,
But see, we did say on Monday, be mindful of how much junk food you consume.
The night before, persons at the supermarket, I see one person in front of me with some ice cream, and they said that
Really?
that's their comfort food for the weather.
But what if the lights go?
It's true. And
I didn't think about
look
that.
at
You are not the only one. My husband and I had a discussion about that. Was standing
He wanted
behind
ice cream?
somebody. No, after he said it, he wanted one. But I said, what would be the point if electricity go? What are they going to do with all the ice cream? He said, well, then we get a smaller one then.
But chances are, it would. I mean, if the electricity comes back in a reasonable time.
Electricity has been gone in some areas for over 12 hours.
No, but the thing about ice cream is one of those, even in the freezer, once you don't have electricity for let's say maybe an hour or two,
to maintain
it's
it.
actually one of those that start totally defrosting.
Yeah.
I think persons.
Is it safe to freeze it back, Latoya? With
No,
your
it's
medical
not.
Exactly. So why are we buying ice cream?
So the thing about it, right? I think a lot of persons thought tropical storm,
Don't mean
little bit of
lighting
rain,
gonna go.
Yeah.
electricity is going to be on,
Inside picnic.
and then what we realized,
You forgot pig out time.
yes, what we realized, trees blown down, poles down, power out for in some areas
cream then.
over 12 hours.
Ice cream is not water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, 12
Yeah.
hours. Yeah, some
Good point.
places don't have power.
Yeah.
I think we underestimated the impact.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yes.
agree with you
Yes.
on that one. Definitely on that one. I think we did, because even discussing it earlier in the office before I got here with my colleagues,
Yes.
some said they didn't feel anything. They wanted a little bit more. And I said, you got to be crazy if you see
They
my
had electricity.
yard
I bet you
now.
had the
You mean
electricity.
your leaves and stuff?
Yeah, and I
know.
have currently I even have skinnips in my yard, and I don't know where the skinnip tree is located.
Oh,
That's how much wind we had down there.
Where do you live? Where do you live?
Sandy Point.
There was someone who said that Ernesto, he went with her banana trees that she planted in her backyard. Yeah.
So Ernesto kind of in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. As I said, I didn't feel much, but I didn't expect to see what I saw this morning on my way to
Yes.
work. Yeah, including that tree that fell down on the Bay Road yesterday. I didn't.
Trees have been falling all over. Yeah.
Damaging things and everything.
It's like Ernesto came for our trees.
Yeah, and that's it. Well, Latoya, we're always grateful that you come in and you educate us on nutrition, and we learned so many more things this morning about mold and all of that. So,
very informative, and
very.
also at this point in time, very significant, on point, relevant. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Look at this one.
Yeah. I've seen
So
this.
I would have played with that.
Oh, you did?
Yes, as a kid. I didn't realize it was mold.
Oh.
And I probably would have touched my face and everything, but
Yes.
I survived. Yep. I survived. All of that is mold, yeah.
You're
So we
quite
have to be-
adventurous.
Yeah. Well, as a child, you just think the paint falling off and you just help it, right? But you didn't realize that you're playing or messing with mold. So folks, let us all be careful. I hope you enjoyed this part of the program this morning, and we look forward again to when Latoya will return and educate us on another part of nutrition.
Yes, very relevant topic in which she has focused the attention onto what is happening now. And so we thank Latoya. We're going to take a short break and we'll get back to you, Island T.
For all your animal needs, try the Feed and Farm Store SKN. We have the best quality products in feed, dewormers, grooming supplies, toys, treats, and minor medical supplies. Drop by the store on the Kim Collins Highway at the airport roundabout. We're open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday and 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Give us a call at 669-FARM.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Buster, hold it up, need the thirst quencher in my cup. If you have one, hold it up answer. Must have put the colors in my life. Refreshing and nice, and I drink that what we like. But stand full of vibes, living for the color. And I'm black and white, we do what we like. We live to enjoy life. Bust that, pour it up, different flavor. Load it up. If you have one, hold it up and say, must have put the colors in my life.
And we are back on Island T. So Azard, what's on the plate? Jamster, what's on the plate?
So there's, I'm getting messages, and one message is saying that my electricity is still not back. And this is from an individual college housing site, yes.
Yeah, I think Frigate Bay is still struggling too.
Yes.
They don't have electricity.
Yeah, so electricity has been off in numerous places, and you understand. And of course, you know, we appreciate our electricity because it does so much. And I think that a lot of us thought that the storm would have brought in a little wind and rain, yes, but not to the point that we would have been without power for so long in several areas, I think. And as I said before, you know, people stock up on food and stuff like that, but without electricity for some time and your fridge being off, much of that food, unless it's, you know, non-perishable, then you run the risk of it being spoiled. Yeah,
and especially, and folks, we really have to use discretion. I want to say, I'm not going to use any other word but discretion, because, and as Latoya said, her husband decided maybe they can buy a smaller one, you know, but you eat the smaller one right away, because as I said, we did not expect it to be as bullisome as it was. We just thought we're going to get the wind and rain, but it did say the winds were going to go up to 55 miles, but we still didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. And imagine you having ice cream and your chicken and everything that you have to throw out, your fruits, or everything that's going to perish, your yogurt, depending on your eating styles as well. Your bread that you would have had in the fridge, that's defrosted already. That could eventually grow mold. So we really have to be mindful what we buy during these times. Let's keep the crackers rolling. Not saying the crackers can't get mold too, but highly unlikely. Let's have the crackers, the canned food. Let's just be mindful of what we stock up on when it comes to tropical weather systems and hurricanes, because it makes no sense to spend money that we're going to lose, because we're not going to get to enjoy these products when we buy them.
Yeah, seeing someone says here, and this was 4 hours ago, still no electricity since around 1 p.m. yesterday, and no water. And this person posted about 4 hours ago.
Boy.
Yeah. I saw on OB's Facebook page, though, there was a conversation about Nevis power being restored to Nevis, and saying, well, basically doing a comparison, he said that Nevis won the battle of electricity companies, with Nevlec restoring electricity to 99.5%. Nevis same day a storm passed, which hit Nevis harder as it was closer. Well, St. Kitts Skelet struggles, saying that they'll start restore tomorrow, leaving most St. Kitts customers complaining on OB, the BBB, and bitterly on Facebook. And that OB posted that about 8 hours ago. And then there were persons in their comments saying, is this a competition? You know, St. Kitts is larger, and St. Kitts has, you know, a larger population, more feeders, and, you know,
more complexity.
Yeah. So.
But I saw something. I saw an article. I wonder if that's the same thing. It says power outage in some communities in Nevis as tropical storm Ernesto passes.
How long ago that was?
That was yesterday.
Okay, so his post was about couple. Let me say 8 hours ago. Let me see when he posted it. He posted it 8 hours ago.
Okay.
We do have someone here from Half Moon. They're saying they haven't had any electricity since she hasn't had any electricity since midday yesterday.
Wow.
I'm wondering, and some of those could be just a matter of them shutting off the electricity just as a precaution, as opposed to necessarily lines being broken and so.
Because if you look in Frigate Bed near to the strip, there are photographs of trees falling and the posts, being damaged.
So the post was damaged. Oh, wow.
With the trees falling on them, I suspect that. Yeah, close to the strip, there are some photos of trees being blown down.
I wondered about the strip too, because the water looked nice. I had a few folks in the water yesterday because, as I said,
during the storm?
After just the time as I saw you in Frigate Bay when I was leaving rituals, we drove around the strip and they had some persons in the water. Caller, go ahead. You're live in Allen T. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, folks.
Good morning, Mr. McMahon.
Yeah. Next time you get anybody from Skelec on the phone, you should probably ask them if they have a plan to put services on the ground. Can't be talking about.
I was just thinking about that.
Sustainable or resilient place, and you don't have services like that on the ground.
Thank you.
Live in Hurricane Alley.
Thank you.
You know, and I don't know if you notice it, but the person said Half Moon doesn't have. I know Frigate Bay got since 6 o'clock, around 6 o'clock yesterday. It didn't go off for a very long time. It probably went off. It was probably sometime after midday. But by 6 o'clock, it was back on. And I suspect it's mainly because the electrical infrastructure over here is mainly on the ground. It will be interesting to know if, and there's another area that have it on the ground, that area below camps, or next to camps. I've forgotten what it's called. But their infrastructure seems to be on the ground as well. It would be interesting to know if they got back pretty early soon. But generally speaking, if the infrastructure, or most of it, is on the ground, I think we're more likely to recover earlier, you know, than if you have to deal with lines down and poles down for this infrastructure that is above ground. So maybe they can look at that. Obviously, it's expensive, but what I'm asking for is there a plan to, certainly the new housing areas that are coming on stream, that should be automatic, right? And then a phased introduction of underground lines in our various communities. You know, I think that's, and certainly there are other places that should be given priority. Obviously, the business section of Bastille, all of that should be on the ground. I guess over in the industrial estate, that big commercial area, that too should be on the ground. Those places that we really want to get back on stream as quickly as possible so that the economy can get moving again. You know, I don't know. I suppose they do have a plan, but it certainly hasn't been public, so to speak. Right? A phase kind of thing where you said this year we're going to deal with this, next year that, etc., until we have the whole place covered with it. Okay, well, and by the way, when they're doing that, it would be important to put it in such a way that if they have to do any servicing, they don't just have to smash up the roads. Put it on the side or something. It's always troublesome when you have utilities on the ground and they're not put there properly, so you have to dig up the whole road in order to get to them. Better they do that on the sidewalk as opposed to the roadway which don't impede traffic as far as possible. That's what I think. Well, otherwise than that, I think we got off lucky.
I was just thinking, it's funny how, as minor as a storm may seem, you always see these little bit incidences of damage that don't seem to correspond with maybe how minor the storm might have been. You know what I mean?
Right. Because you have to wonder if it was a full-blown hurricane, much more damage it would have caused. And I think that's because we have not done a good job in planning our infrastructure and mitigating against things like that. We can be sure the Bay Road, for instance. I mean, it's high time some kind of barrier rocks outside there they used to break the water. Every time, you should not have it exposed like that forever. I think that would be a good project for, especially these days when you're talking so much about climate change.
You mean?
And then
it needs protection, not from just inland by not on the seashore itself, but further out, like a barrier island of rocks or something.
Like a man-made barrier reef, sort of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
To break the water and not have, not every time we have some high seas we have to deal.
But what do you think about the idea of actually making the beach bigger? Maybe bringing sand from somewhere and maybe making the beach, the sandy area bigger, sort of like
the thing with that is if you don't have that barrier,
and then you have the barrier, and along with the barrier, I meant.
The barrier first, then you put a good beach, because we really need that.
Down
that's
there.
one of the things I think we need to first attract more people off the ships that come, and secondly, it's good advertisement for us. I mean, to have a good beach right there where you have hundreds of thousands of people coming off ships. It's a good attraction.
Yeah.
And have people pay for it. This thing about the beaches should be free and all these kind of things. Sure, the natural ones. But if you have to spend money to actually do a good one, there's nothing wrong in having some token fee to maintain it.
But here's a key question. Answer this. You think that tourists will go for a beach that has a desalination plant and a bulk fuel plant in the background? Legitimate question. Legitimate question. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I agree. But I was thinking more of the Irish Town Bay Road as opposed to the Newtown Bay Road. For that, because the desalination plant is not as bad, but the oil storage thing and the bunkering and that sort of thing, the cargo ships.
But it occurred to me
on the other end, that's not really conducive to.
But it occurred to me we could put up some
down there. I don't think it was used that much compared to the Irish Town Bay Road. You remember when they were there?
That's true.
Yeah.
I remember when people used to use it. But here's one of the things that could be done. You could put up some kind of artwork, like murals, put up a sort of like a fence that's some kind of mural that maybe says Saint Kitts or some kind of artwork to block off. The only problem with that is we have a storm, it'll get blown down. But
No. My idea initially was to put. You see, the entrance looked very stark with all those stones. It will always look like that.
Yeah.
Except that we can do something. We can do something about it, in the sense that, if, for instance, you had a number of old badges, okay, that are not there permanently, they can be. If there's a storm, they can be pulled into the marina or something like that, or flooded with water, sink them, and then refloat them after. But convert those badges into the frontage of the rocks. Put them, moor them at the front of the rocks. And you can put things like restaurants and souvenir places and so on, so that the locals get the first bite at the cherry. And you can also use them almost like a theme, you know. They have so many different types of ships, whether from galleons to whatever, even canoes or those Roman ships.
Yeah.
You can actually put them there with the masks that hide the rocks. So you get kind of theme effect when you enter Port Zanti, right?
Okay.
When you come to Port Zanti. And like I said, they're not permanent. Okay, you can't put anything permanent there now, and you can't move the rocks or anything like that because they serve as breakwater. But they can be moved if the weather conditions, you know, they can be told if weather conditions warrant it. We have that. It seems like we have to have a tugboat when the cruise thing is on, when the cruise season is on. Most of the time they just sit there doing nothing. Okay? And I suspect we still have to pay for it. I don't see why we can't use that and the badge to bring sand from somewhere. I know, for instance, that Guyana has Kortensia. You know, Guyana have some really nice white sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? And I understand that Nevis used to give them aggregate. They used to send badges up for aggregate from Nevis.
Some kind of batter. I heard it was a batter type thing.
I don't know about that part, but I know about the white sand.
Oh, sand.
What? They were bringing sand?
From Guyana, yeah. From
Guyana.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
I had some kind of batter, I heard. I don't know if it's true.
That was for construction, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm thinking sand to build the kind of beach that you talked about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But I mean, there are things we can do to really improve the infrastructure and make the place look better, more appealing, and at the same time protect our beachfront or the frontage.
But that part that I think most of the water is going to come in on Newtown, Mr. McMahon, isn't that the part where the fishers go down and fish? You know where the tree fell down? Just after the tree, there's a little entrance exit there.
Yeah.
No.
But what? That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking more of the Irish Town part of it. I think that lends itself more to that kind of development. I think I saw one of the parties had another marina on the Newtown side. That's a possibility as well. But really and truly, that bulk storage thing should not be there. It should be relocated and probably convert there into some kind of free zone thing, right? That school shouldn't be there either, right at the front, right at the bayfront. It's too vulnerable to all kinds of things, right? Maybe they can put the school further up where the old Bassi High School was supposed to be. The new Bassi High School.
Yeah, that's a good idea,
I
actually.
don't know. Maybe they can, but I think that school is in a bad place.
I agree.
But that area could be used as a free zone, of a marina, and there are good ideas there that can be used to develop the area. To me, that's the next step. right? Apart from going up with our building that we need to work on.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. McMahon, for your contribution this morning. Thank you so much. So I'm seeing here that hundreds of thousands without power in Puerto Rico after tropical storm Ernesto. So yes, we're not the only ones. Yeah, so tropical storm Ernesto rain on Puerto Rico on Wednesday and left hundreds of thousands without power in the U.S. territory as it threatened to strengthen into a major hurricane en route to Bermuda. So Ernesto is expected to become a hurricane later Wednesday. This article was published an hour ago. So later Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
So later today then.
Caller, we have a call. Sorry. Caller, go right ahead. Island Tea.
Caller.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
Good morning.
I don't know why I'm hearing myself.
Hello? We can hear you
Are
loud.
you hearing me clearly?
Yeah, we're hearing you loud.
Yeah,
and clear.
loud and clear.
Okay. With regards to the persons who have the well, let me say this. We know that it's traditionally the system switches off electricity during the storm. Just as we know that for the past recent years, in most places, we're out of water for part of the evening.
Yeah.
And so when we prepare for storms, we should not prepare for storms assuming that there'll be electricity. Rather than stocking up our refrigerators, we should be stocking up with goods that can be consumed without need for refrigerators.
Thank you.
So rather than talking about buying chicken and other perishables and putting them in our refrigerators, we should be putting up dry goods, because those are the ones that will still be available to use 2 months from now.
Yeah, agreed.
And so part of it is our own planning. We should be realistic. We know our system, our infrastructure is fragile, and therefore we should do that. Plan knowing what is. Now, on the other hand, I listened to some of the proposals put forward by Mr. McMahon. Well, before I get to that, I think sometimes we are also being unreasonable. When we say we are without electricity, it is not necessarily that because the power suppliers have turned off electricity. Sometimes, maybe, if a tree pulled down the lines and then pulled down a pole, the ability of SCELEC to get around the island, if a pole was pulled down in each of our 8 parishes, we require the same people. They have limited resources. Go to each of those places, even with the equipment that now have, dig a hole, put in a pole, reconnect the wires. And so when we have storms, we must understand that it is not a case of that as you have in other countries that are larger, you bring in resources from neighboring cities or neighboring states to assist. We have to contend with what we have here already. And so their resources are limited. And I would like to believe the people of SCELEC are doing their damnedest, doing their best to restore electricity to everyone as soon as possible. With regards to the putting of power lines on the ground, there are 2 challenges to that. Putting power lines on the ground is far more expensive. And therefore, that would carry up the cost of maintaining of our electricity provision. Many years ago, the main supply of electricity from the power station into downtown Bastia was by an underground cable. And then one day there was a fault. They took many days trying to find that fault. Eventually they gave up and ran new main lines overhead from the power station into downtown Bastille. And so it's a case that it's a strange thing that it is cheaper to put the power lines overhead. But of course, on the other hand, it makes them more vulnerable. And so that is a balance that the people at Skelec have to strive to determine which one is the better investment. And I think they're in the best position to make that judgment. Regarding some of the solutions, or some of the suggestions Mr. McMahon offered, it is very easy to say, let's just put up a barrier out there. First of all, when man fights battles with nature, nature tends to win. Bringing in sand to build beaches has been proven to be a losing case. On the east coast of the United States, especially in the state of New Jersey, every late spring, they bring in literally tens of millions of dollars worth of sand to build up their beaches for the summer season. And every winter, nature comes and takes the sand away because of the natural tidal pattern. We can't afford that luxury. And if you build a barrier, whenever you put something where nature didn't intend for it to be, there's a side effect. Those of you in that room are probably too young to know that there was a time when there was no commercial port at Bird Rock. And we had a natural half-moon bay with a huge beach in Bastille from what we call the Factory Pier all the way around to Fort Land. They built a pier at Bird Rock. What was the side effect? It washed away our beach in Bastille.
Okay.
And that is why you have all these rocks now on the edge of the road in the Newtown area. The Irish town also had a large beach. When we put up Port Zante, what was the side effect? The tidal patterns are interrupted and it causes something to happen elsewhere. And so therefore, it's not just a case of saying, let's put up a barrier out there. There's going to be a side effect somewhere else. Even in the Frigate Bay area, the attempt to preserve the beach by putting up that rock barrier has caused a side effect elsewhere. It's only a matter of time before we'll see the side effects caused by the building of the marina in Frigate Bay. And so therefore, as I said, considered having a price to go to the beach. Mr. McMahon will be the first person to say, what the heck are you talking about? Petitions must pay money to go to the beach? And how do you enforce paying money to go to the beach? Say, if you look as if you came off of a cruise ship, you pay money to go on the beach? It's a bit impractical. And so, such costs will have to be part of the normal, if it was ever done, will have to be part of what we pay general taxes for. Because we will not be having, no one is going to agree to go back to the era. And Frigate Bay was private land, and to get past what we now call sugars, you had to pay a toll at a gate to get into Frigate Bay to use the beach. People of St. Nevis should not, and I hope would not, tolerate such a thing. Our beaches are supposed to be free. We have had incursions, such as we have at Hyatt, where Hyatt has been allowed to create a de facto private beach, from when we know that all the shores on St. Kitts Nevis are supposed to have free access to residents and all users. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution, Mr. Warner. I appreciate it.
And that's a perfect coda for today.
Yeah.
So
yes. So thank you to all the callers who called. Mr. Warner, to Mr. McMahon, to Gregory, to
Lorenzo,
yes, Lorenzo. And to our guests that we had this morning, Latoya,
thank you
so much. We didn't have the farm report today, but we appreciate the farmers, and
they're probably cleaning up after all the winds that blew. So guys, keep at it. We appreciate that.
Yeah, and should have voices coming up at 11. Socrates should be here.
So you're not doing it?
Well, I have to be here either way. Trent is off. So,
okay.
But yeah, Socrates should be here. So don't forget to join us at 11 for voices.
I'm looking at the weather. It's trying to see if it's going to be any more rain. But I shouldn't trust the weather because the weather always works against me, I would say. But it just says it's partly cloudy for almost most of the day.
There was enough winds and rain yesterday.
Switches on a dime, right?
Yeah, it does. So today it's just going to be, if any rains fall, it's going to be about 8%. The next time for heavy rainfall
8% chance?
Yeah.
Okay, so probably no rain.
Yeah, so the next time for heavy rainfall is going to be on Saturday, where the precipitation is expected to be 24%. And Friday have about 24%. So Saturday and Friday and Saturday, 24%. Yeah.
Okay, higher chance of rain.
Yeah.
And stay safe, guys.
Please do.
Yeah, and I'm still seeing posts saying that persons don't have power, talking about Calypso Bay, St. Peter's. I pray everybody gets their power back and their water back, because
just have some patience. I'm pretty sure, and I think CJ made a good point that it's not that they're, in my words, not that they're worthless. It's just it's just that they have a lot of things to repair, and they have limited manpower and so on. So and they have to go from site to site. So,
exactly.
So
give them some grace. They'll be in your area soon.
And they have been doing what they could and what they can. Previous time they've been really there in terms when you thought the electricity would be off, it was on.
And me and Kay have to be grateful because our electricity didn't go off.
Thank God. Well, the night before I didn't have for almost 9-10 hours, so I had my turn.
When?
I'm watching Jam.
Remember, on Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had no electricity. Once I left here, the electricity went since after 9 over in my area. I said they were changing a post.
Okay.
So I guess we had to wait for that post secure and everything.
We're gonna watch Jamster Kortensia with the side eye.
No. Boy, you see, I had my turn. I took mine like a champ.
There have been worse storms where mine didn't go off. Much worse, and they didn't go off. So
Jamster.
Everybody
gonna be coming by your house for chat, Everybody gonna be coming by your house for chat.
I better hush because fate likes to switch things up. It's like, oh really?
Yeah.
You think you're special?
Listen, that happened to me last night because I don't normally get trickles, right? But when I be like, Lord Jesus, so this is how everybody to feel. And my sister has this running joke: if I said something's not work or off at my house, she'd be like, so you ain't pay your bill. So Leah last night said, girl, if you see the state of the water, she'd be like, oh, you ain't pay your bill. I'd be like, oh boy.
Well, guys, we're going to shut it down now.
Yep. It was a good one. Same place, same time tomorrow. Thanks to all our listeners, our callers. We appreciate you, and we are happy when you tune in. So, it's always good to tell a friend that Island Tea is on from 8 to 10.
Seems weird that tomorrow is Thursday already.
Yeah. Time's waiting on no one. We're aging fast. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen on the PAM Facebook page that, the press conference that was supposed to be today at 4:30 has been postponed until tomorrow.
Oh, due to the weather.
Okay. Okay, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Tea time, calling night, noon and morning. Tasty biscuit, just can't resist it.